So, of course, Kamala has announced her VP, Governor Tim Walz, to be her running mate. Military veteran and union supporter who helped enact an ambitious Democratic agenda for his state. Cool. So here's some info about him. Ex-football coach and teacher, now Harris's VP pick. With one viral line on cable TV, "These guys are just weird," Tim Walz vaulted into contention for the job of Kamala Harris's running mate. The 60-year-old brings with him a folksy, plain-spoken, and sharp-tongued approach to taking on the Republican opposition. He also comes with a compelling resume, a public school teacher, football coach, and National Guardsman before he entered politics. His political experience representing a Republican-leaning district in Congress and then later passing left-wing policies as Minnesota's governor could have broader appeal at a time when America politics is so polarized. So, I mean, I am learning about this guy right now live as well, but I gotta say, he sounds like a good pick already, like right off the bat. As a coach at the high school, Mr. Walz helped build up an American football program that led the school to its first state championship. He also earned plaudits for agreeing to be the faculty advisor for the school's gay-straight alliance at a time when homosexuality was largely frowned upon, so that's based. He first ran for office in a largely agricultural district that spans across southern Minnesota, which is fairly rural and Republican-leaning. But Mr. Walz campaigned as a moderate who cared about public service and veterans advocacy, leading to an election upset. He voted in favor of the Affordable Care Act, based. He co-sponsored pro-labor measures, including a bill to raise the minimum wage, and backed an unsuccessful cap and trade effort for reducing carbon emissions. But he also found common cause with Republicans. Here's going to be a couple negatives. He voted to continue funding the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, supported tighter vetting for refugees entering the US, and tried to block the Obama-era bailout of banks and car companies after the 2008 financial crash. I would need to look more into the bailout thing, because I know a lot of people have a lot of issues with bailouts. But I also know that sometimes it's necessary to keep the economy running. It's my understanding. I could completely be wrong. Mr. Walz won the 2018 Minnesota governor's race by more than 11 points, but his first term was overshadowed by the COVID pandemic and the killing of George Floyd by a police officer in in Minneapolis. Republicans heavily criticized Mr. Walz for being slow to deploy the National Guard, even as some protests grew violent. But the governor won re-election. Democrats have enshrined abortion rights, enacted paid family and sick leave, strengthened gun laws, funded universal free school meals, and invested in affordable housing. Largely unknown on the national scene, Mr. Walz has quickly gathered buzz in recent weeks for his descriptions of Republicans. "These are weird people on the other side," he recently told MSNBC, a label that's been widely repeated. "They want to ban books. They want to be in your doctor's exam room." True. Republicans have been quick to characterize what he has done in Minnesota as too radical for ordinary Americans. Sure, whatevs. Either way, sounds like a really, really excellent pick. And I'm also really happy to see that he's able to bring even more heat and challenge to the Republicans. And I also am really glad to see that he is also playing into this whole weird thing, because that actually goes right along into our next subject, which is how Kamala Harris literally has the right wing shook. Like, have you realized that the right wing is breaking down everything they try to claim? She's not really a black person. Oh, yeah, all that's not working, turns out. But then Harris calling Republicans weird, that somehow has latched onto everything, and it's just blowing up. Everybody is realizing Republicans are fucking weird. So to go into, to give you an idea of just how much these weird attacks have rattled Republicans, here's a little bit of an article, which is really interesting. Democratic Party's Trump is weird strategy rattles Republicans. Some of what he and his running mate are saying, it's just plain weird, Harris said during a fundraiser last weekend. I mean, that's the box you put it in, right? It's just so simple. It's such like a juvenile insult, but yet somehow conservatives are so fucking triggered by this. An independent Harris supporters group called Won't Pack Down last month launched an ad called "These Guys Are Just Weird" that has since gone viral, featuring a series of creepy male MAGA Republicans saying they want the government way more involved in your sex life. These opinions that mainstream Republicans in a lot of cases are holding are honestly just bizarre, said another. Trump and his allies, however, have failed to find an effective response. First, he attempted to claim that Harris wasn't actually a black person. And then Thursday, he was on a conservative podcast. He tried to defend himself. And he says, I'm a lot of things, but weird, I'm not. And I actually have the clip right here.
Nobody's ever called me weird. I'm a lot of things, but weird I'm not. And I'm up front. And he's not either, I will tell you. JD is not at all. They are. It's all a soundbite. And the press picks it up. You notice the evening news, every one of them they introduce the word weird.
This is so funny. First and foremost, Trump unironically just did "no you." He literally just did, we're not weird. They're the weird ones. No, you. First he did that. And now he's over here complaining about sound bites? It's all just a sound bite. Trump, you speak in exclusively sound bites. Build the wall. Mexicans. Kamala Harris. Whatever. Like, it's all a buzzword with you. It's all like just a little catchphrase. It's all a sound bite. Like, Trump talks in sound bites, and so what he's actually saying here, not so much as him complaining that they're engaging in sound bites, but that they got a good sound bite that Trump himself has not even been able to refute.
And all of a sudden they're talking about weird. No, we're not weird people. We're actually just the opposite.
I can't get over the fact that he's complaining, one, about people using sound bites after, like I said, Trump exclusively speaks in sound bites. And he's also trying profusely to deny claims that he's weird. Well, luckily, I have a little 60-second compilation here of Republicans being just that.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black. And
you were a libertarian rapper.
I say my name's Vivek. It rhymes with cake. It ain't about thee. It isn't about me. It is about thee. The United States is about liberty. So Fox and friends, join us on the trail. We'll have some fun. I'll see you out the trail.
Very nicely done, sir.
Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but.
Can you say with 100% certainty that TikTok does not use the phone's camera to determine whether the content that elicits a pupil dilation should be amplified by the algorithm?
I know a ton of white people that are as lazy and sorry and probably worse than black people I know.
Yeah, they definitely don't sound like weird people, though. What's even funnier is Vivek Ramaswamy, the guy we just saw do his weird rap, he tweeted his condemnation of the left wing engaging in calling people weird. Think of how mean that is. This whole "they're weird" argument from the Democrats is dumb and juvenile. Dumb and juvenile? Hasn't Trump engaged in so many goddamn juvenile insults? But anyway, Vivek Ramaswamy goes on to say, this is a presidential election, not a high school prom queen contest. It's also a tad ironic coming from the party that preaches diversity and inclusion. Win on policy if you can, but cut the crap, please? Wait, diversity and inclusion means accepting people that have really, really weird and harmful views? And even crazier now, going further into how Kamala Harris has the right wing shook, is just taking a look at some of these recent polls. Boosts in Democratic excitement help Harris reset the race against Trump. She has a 1-point edge nationally, something President Biden never had. And Harris and former President Donald Trump are tied across the collective battleground states. Looking ahead, voters are also defining why the next few weeks could be critical. So you have this. You see Kamala Harris raising in the polls. You see Kamala Harris. It's obviously more than just a little trend, more than just a little bit of excitement. We're seeing some consistency here. That has conservatives shook. And if you don't believe me, take it from JD Vance himself. Because A recent video has been released
611 and knew this
in which JD Vance reveals to his donors that they are in fact pretty concerned about Harris, and that Harris is also inflicting some serious damage to their campaign.
morning. Just released audio reveals the members of the Trump campaign telling donors privately that the change of the Democratic ticket has made it more challenging for them.
Those remarks came from Republican vice presidential nominee Senator JD Vance and is at odds with what the campaign has said publicly. Take a listen.
Uh-oh.
All of us were hit with a little bit of a political sucker punch. The bad news is that Kamala Harris does not have the same baggage as Joe Biden, because whatever we might say, Kamala Harris is a lot younger, and Kamala Harris is obviously not struggling in the same ways that Joe Biden did.
Now, previously, Vance claimed the campaign dynamic had not changed when President Biden stepped out of the race. New Democratic candidate Vice President Kamala Harris has pulled in more than $200 million since entering the race.
So there's just a little tidbit here from JD Vance himself acknowledging that, yeah, Kamala Harris is a political sucker punch. And it's really, really hilarious to see all of them melting down about this. JD Vance is actually getting sucker punched in more ways than one also. Not only is his Trump campaign getting sucker punched, he might be getting sucker punched out of it as well. No cap. Because Republican senators right now are divided over Trump is even going to stick with JD Vance. Republican lawmakers are divided over whether former President Trump should ditch his running mate, JD Vance, who has become a magnet for controversy and negative press coverage since Trump tapped him for the role earlier this month. Some Republican senators think Trump should have picked a woman or a person of color to help broaden his appeal beyond his hardcore base of supporters. Several wondered if Trump ignored his professional political advisors and listened instead to his son, Donald Trump Jr., and conservative media celebrity Tucker Carlson in picking Vance. That's how you know these are weird people right here, okay? Because you're taking advice from Tucker fucking Carlson. You will have more edifying advice from your morning dump than you will ever get from Tucker Carlson. I would assume he's not real happy, one Republican senator said, of how Trump is handling the barrage of negative publicity that's hit his running mate over the past 10 days. I don't think Trump likes any discomfort. He can create discomfort himself, but he doesn't like external discomfort coming in. And JD's struggling. I would assume he's not real happy, they added. Others, however, are defending the pick, saying Vance can help Republicans in key swing states in the Midwest, and Trump has stood behind his running mate. Still, the discontent is not limited to the Senate. A number of House Republicans told The Hill last week that they had concerns about Vance's foreign policy positions, lack of experience, and inability to expand the Republican coalition beyond Trump's base. Senate Republicans familiar with private conversations with Trump or top members of his team say many of their colleagues recommended other options, such as Marco Rubio, the vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, etc. It's pretty generally thought that it was his son and Tucker Carlson who talked him into it. Senator Lindsey Graham tried to talk Trump out of picking Vance while aboard Trump's plane en route to the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Graham argued Rubio would pick up more swing votes in battleground states. So it's really not looking so good for the Republicans. And I gotta be honest, I couldn't be happier. Because after the first debate with Biden and Trump, I was pretty much just like blackpilled. I was just kind of like, okay, well, the end. Trump wins. But then Kamala Harris comes in all of a sudden, brings in new energy. She's much younger. She's not struggling where Biden was struggling. She doesn't have the same baggage as Biden, JD Vance's words. And now the Republicans are shook. They're struggling consistently. They haven't been able to get a single good insult that's landed and stuck on Kamala. And basically they're just getting called weird and picking horrible running mates. That's what the Republicans are doing right now. Now, I'm sure you have also seen that as the Republicans are struggling, as they're shook, as Kamala Harris is gaining significant momentum on Trump, even surpassing him nationally, what do you think the Republicans' best bet is right now? They got to do something clever. They got to do something smart. Trump has got to get himself back into a favorable light. He already blew it last week with the whole she's not really black thing. He's got to save himself. What is he going to do? He's going to sit down and have a live stream with fucking Adin Ross, the dumbest sack of shit to ever walk the planet Earth, on, yes, Kick. The streaming platform Kick. The interview, from what I saw, looked incredibly boring and uneventful because Trump will not go anywhere where there's any bad press because he's a little bitch baby. He doesn't want to go anywhere where he might get some hard questions or he might get backed into a corner a little bit. He's afraid. He's scared. And so he only now goes and meets up with people who he believes are on his side. That's another reason why he felt so duped at the black convention where he denied Kamala's ethnicity, because he was told that the crowd was going to like him and everything else. And he showed up and he realized, hey, this is going to be a little bit more challenging. Yikes. Trump doesn't like that. He's spineless. He's a coward. He's a bitch. So we've been relegated to only watching Trump content in which it's just Trump having his dick sucked by whichever person is interviewing him. So for that reason, I would prefer not to watch this entire interview because there was nothing of substance that happened. It was just Trump like rambling and Adin Ross just listening intently and, being excited about all the viewers. Things took a little bit more of a twist after the interview when Adin Ross and XQC decided to gift Donald Trump with something?
Yeah. So what's your good side? What do you like walking on? What side do you like walking on?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you look good from both sides. Yeah, it doesn't really matter at all. X.
Yeah, see, listen, just 8 seconds in. How do we 8 seconds in get instant dick sucking? Oh my God.
Check out this rapper. Let me know your honest thoughts.
I think it's incredible.
I've never seen a more hideous vehicle in my lifetime. You already got the Tesla Cybertruck, which looks like it's something straight out of Star Wars. Now you have Trump's face plastered on it? Also, didn't Trump say that he didn't like electric vehicles? Oh no, Trump. He just keeps on taking L's. Donald Trump admits that his flip-flop when it came to electric vehicles was a quid pro quo to secure Elon Musk's support. Former President Donald Trump said he had no choice but to support electric vehicles after Tesla CEO Elon Musk endorsed him. Trump then went on to criticize the electric vehicle industry at length. Dude, it just goes to show what a phony Trump is. He literally can just be bought like that. I'm for electric cars. I have to because, Elon endorsed me very strongly, Trump told the crowd, so I have no choice. He then clarified that he only supports them as a small slice of the larger auto industry. Trump has repeatedly attacked the Biden administration's electric vehicle regulations, including its plan to grow EV sales to half of all new vehicle sales by 2030. Trump's also criticized the electric vehicle chargers being placed around as well. So it sounds like Trump has been against electric vehicles. Then Elon Musk said that he likes Trump, kind of. And since Trump loves yes men and only cares about people that, tell him how great and amazing and special he is, he then just is going to flip-flop that quick. He literally just fucking flip-flops. I guess I have no choice now because Elon endorsed me, LOL. So the man is just a fucking sellout. He's just a loser. He had no policies. He had no electric vehicle policies, no real positions. All it took was Elon Musk being like, hey, actually, I kind of like you. You want a blowjob sometime? And Trump was like, yo, never mind. Electric vehicles, they're the shit.
So, I know we're not going to drive anywhere, but I was wondering if you wanted to, listen to, a song in here.
Let's go.
All right, cool. This is how you open it up.
It is incredible.
Yeah, it is. I'll get on the other side.
Different kind of a guy.
What's uglier? The exterior of the car or the two people sitting inside of it? Controversial streamer Adin Ross surprises Trump with a wrapped Cybertruck, and also he gave him a Rolex watch. It's unclear if Trump actually accepted the gifts, though if he did, it could violate federal campaign finance law. Contributions to federal candidates from an individual are limited to $3,300, far short of the tens of thousands the vehicle and watch are worth. Campaign finance watchdog told Rolling Stone that he believes Trump will publicly reject the gifts to avoid legal inquiry. Giving gifts valued at tens of thousands of dollars to a candidate amounts to an illegal and excessive campaign contribution. I suspect that once Trump talks to his lawyers, we'll get an announcement that he is turning down the gifts or donating them to charity. So that is most likely what's going to happen. But yeah, I guess this was like Trump's weird attempt at appealing to the youth. And I don't think it went so well, especially not after we got this literal reincarnation of Hillary Clinton. Like Trump and Adin Ross like dancing like the biggest dorks in the world. Wow. Whew. I might need to be walking my vote for Kamala Harris back real fast. In fact, I might be dancing just like that to the polls to go vote for Trump. I'm going to vote for more racism. Let's dance. Wow.